Today, I'm joined by the digital marketing director at a large electronics manufacturing company. And she'll talk about her digital marketing strategy, how she organizes her campaigns into swim lanes. You'll hear about how she makes content accessible to both sales and distribution, and the importance of video to help humanize their brand. Let's do this.
Welcome to Content Marketing Engineered, your source for building trust and generating demand with technical content. Here is your host, Wendy Covey.
Hi, and welcome to Content Marketing Engineered. On each episode, I'll break down an industry trend, challenge, or best practice in reaching technical audiences. You'll meet colleagues, friends, and clients of mine who will stop by to share their stories. And I hope that you leave each episode feeling inspired and ready to take action. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a brief shout out to my agency, TREW Marketing. TREW is a full service agency located in beautiful Austin, Texas, serving highly technical companies. For more information, visit trewmarketing.com. And now on with our podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content Marketing Engineered. I'm joined today by Sannah Vinding, and she is the digital marketing director for MCC, and she's also the podcast host of Mind the Innovation. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. We tried to schedule this for like forever, right?
Oh,
but now
we did. It's been a busy summer for us both, I think, between travel and industry shows, all sorts of things, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we made it. And last we saw each other in person, we were at the ERA conference here in Austin, Texas a while back. So for electronics, the electronics industry, and hopefully maybe we'll see each other in a few weeks at ECIA. I forgot. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Great. Okay. So then we can have a cheers celebration for having gone through this podcast today. Yeah. Well, Sannah, I thought it might be fun to talk a little bit about your background because you have a master's degree in engineering. You started your career in product design, but yet here you are as a digital marketing leader. So what the heck?
What the heck? What happened, right?
Yeah.
It's calling that you pivot and you follow your passion. I think that's what it's called. I have a master in mechanical engineering. I worked with as an engineer for many, many years. I did designs. I've been in the consumer electronics or lighting. Got into all the components more than 10 years ago. And it's just been my journey. I've always been a creative person, and then understanding all what's going on behind, when you do product development with the engineering, how do you manage the project, right? How do you communicate? And then how do you actually promote the product? So it's the whole life cycles, right? From you start with the concept to you promote it. And then I have a passion for being creative. So that's why it's just been taking me to that journey to enter the world of marketing. And that is never a dull moment. And I'm sure you know that. It is changing rapidly, right? You have to be on top of everything. You have to be creative. And it's just having these two, the engineering and the marketing, understanding both just makes it a really good combination in the position that I have.
Yeah, let's dig into that a little further. Because from, my history in this industry too, I've seen that technical acumen really helps to bridge between marketing communications and, product development, knowing the customer. So tell me about some of the ways that you bring these two disparate groups together.
Yeah, I think it's when you work in a company, right? It's so important to understand all the technical aspects of it and being able to translate what the engineers are saying. And being an engineer, even though I'm not a double E, I do understand, right, how to translate or ask all the questions and saying, okay, is this the way we can promote it? Is this the way we can go, ahead? And create, if it's a video, right, or if it's a blog post, how can we actually promote it? And also when we sell through distribution, how do we actually prepare that stock package in the most efficient and proper and in the best quality? So that's where it takes it. And I also think it's important to show how in a company is, how do we work, right? The company culture, everybody's asking about it. So understanding as well how is the organization, how do we work together, and show that. And it's like the branding and humanizing the brand. It's the mix of that.
Ooh, humanizing the brand. You mean we can't just talk about our product specs and people will buy it and that's
You
it,
can,
right? Why do we?
but who will remember you, right? If you don't,
Yeah.
you're not in front
So
of the camera.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is the importance of a brand for a technical company?
For a technical company, right, you want to be of that top of mind, because you never know. You never know when that engineer, or it could be procurement, right? That's your customer. You never know when they need you. Because the design cycle are long. It can be a month, right? It can be 6 months. It can be even longer. And you want to be of top of mind. So if you create a good balance, between showing, of course, your product, your knowledge, but also the people. And then with the people, I'm saying humanizing. And if you go to MCC's, the YouTube channel, or you go to our website, you will see that we have, of course, products, and we show, the different applications in automotive and cars driving around, right, being fancy. But we also have people in front of, we have our FAEs, we have the technical marketing, we have sales, we have warehouse. We're really showing, who we are. And if you go to the website, you can say it says powered by service, and we need to stand behind, that's our tagline. And
Yeah.
powered by service, the secret is the service, right? You need people, you need amazing people, and we need to show, and that's what I've been doing. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you can see one where we are saying meet MCC, and that's where I just put like a microphone, right, and a camera up in front of all people, and I actually just ask and saying, what's unique about MCC? Nothing is scripted, because I want it to be the most natural way. And I've learned the way, because now I've learned to be in front of the camera, and I still screw up. Come on, it happens to
Come
everyone.
on. I mean,
Nobody's
you're not
perfect, right?
perfect. What?
Yeah. Oh, I can't pronounce a word or something, right? Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But so when I put something up on the ground, they're like, oh, what should I say, right? Even salespeople can be nervous. I'm like, don't worry, right? We do it 5 times. We do that take, and then they relax more and more, and then actually the 5th take, or sometimes actually the first one, but from the 1st to the 5th, if that's many, they relax so much more, and that's where you get that personality, or that you humanize. And I think it's so important, because everybody wants to work with people. Yeah, you want to find, maybe when you go on the when you're looking for product, right, you want to search to a certain point, but at a certain point as well, you're saying, oh, I just need this answer, right? I need to cross it, or I need to know that it actually, follow the specs. Now I'm ready to talk to somebody. And then you want to be sure that when you talk to somebody, that actually they're like a nice person, right? It's a nice company, and they will actually come back to you.
Yeah. Okay. So you chose YouTube as the place to put these videos, and then you have them on your website as well. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Did you get any pushback that Sannah, like, how does this lead to sales? How do you measure the ROI on this? This has taken a
Oh,
lot of
that's a
time.
question. Yeah. I use that question. How do you measure the return on investment? I don't have an answer. If somebody will have that answer to say, here is the calculation. What I look at, I use LinkedIn a lot as well for the company. And that's what's driving a lot of the views. YouTube, I don't put all the webinars that there actually is like, they're not on YouTube. Maybe they will be there soon. But it's all about being easy to search, right? Because if somebody, and if I'm searching and saying, oh, I need to find an answer for this is my, my issue or my problem, I do a quick search first. So that's why I believe it's so important to use YouTube, because it's owned by Google, right? And when somebody's Googling or something else, you need to show up. So that's why it's important to get get all over. In a quick way, but also in an efficient way. So you need to understand, of course, where your engineers, the procurement, where do they live? Where do they actually look for information?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can expand. And again, right, with the return on investment, there's so many places you can go, right? You can work with different magazines, right? You can work with distribution, right? There's so many options you can do, so you can die before you're actually getting out there. So it's so important when you look at the return on investment, find out where the first, I'll call it quick wins, will be. And then be much more strategic to say, okay, now, this is the first step. Where do we take the next step? And that can either be to work and do co-op with distribution, if that's your channel and getting out there, or it could be to say, hey, I want to work with some of the bigger e-magazines that's out there.
Okay. So when you look at your digital marketing strategy, how do you have things organized? Are you using campaigns where, you mentioned your brand campaign where you're adding proof points behind customer service?
Yeah.
So are you more using campaigns, or do you look first at channels and how do we optimize on LinkedIn? How do we optimize on YouTube?
So I have different swim lanes, again, based
Okay.
on the theme. So we have, of course, a lot of NPIs, right? This year we're hitting like over 200 NPIs. So there's different
200. Wow.
200. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
busy.
yeah, it is busy and you need to be structured. No. So that's like one swim lane, right? To make sure that everything that's created around the marketing and material and collaboration, right? Videos, flyers, all that. That's just like one swim lane. Another one is all the events, right? We work really closely with Arrow and with Future. So there, if there's any event, right, showing that we are there, of course, so we can promote it and have the countdowns. It could be that we're going to PCIM. We did that earlier this year. Um, and then also follow up either to say, hey, we're here, right? This is what's happening, come and visit us. So that's another swim lane. And then there's always the good one to go back and saying, this is what happened, this is the trends, this is what we saw. And then the third swim lane is the thought leadership. It's important that you can't just stand there and saying, oh, we're like pushing out all these NPIs and then saying, oh, we're partying all the time. You're not, but it's all the pictures of your drink, right? No,
Exactly.
but you need to show and create that trust as well with the thought leadership and educate engineers and procurement, right? It can be to say how do you use the website the best way? How do you, what's the greatest and latest within the application, and if it's the energy, right, or it could be not automotive, educating and saying, hey, this is what you should look out for, and maybe you write further down, right? In the beginning, you will say, hey, this is how the design consideration you should look for. You don't stand and just put the product up here and saying, oh, you need to buy, right? If you need to create this thought leadership and send it out, because in the end, right, with these different swim lanes, that's how you create that brand awareness and top of mind. Because if you keep creating quality content that comes out, people will notice you and they will follow you.
Yeah, and they will trust you. I would add on top of that, the more helpful you are, the more accurate you are, obviously, and personalized. So I like to hear that you're doing vertically oriented marketing where you're talking about industry issues, things like that.
Yeah.
So I bet with all of this that you probably need to grow some spokespeople besides just showcasing employees within your company. Have you designated some people within MCC that are, okay, you're our company spokesperson and we're going to treat your posts a little bit differently or a little more strategically?
So it's more than when we meet each other, right, at these events. I know who are not shy to be in front of the camera. Let's say that, right? Because it has to have some dynamic when you stand there and explain. But you also need to be sure that you actually have a technical person that will stand there. So a lot of from technical marketing, the team there, I have field application engineers. So these are the people that will actually explain more and go deeper and be these like thought leaders within the company.
So
and
it's
again,
more
right,
grassroots.
you want to yeah, and you want to make sure, right, again, that they speak that same language, right? It doesn't help me to stand there and want to explain, where do you actually use this component, right, in this block diagram. I'll learn it, but I still have to get there.
Yeah. So do you have any formal ways to train the staff on your company's messaging and value proposition, or is it repeated in, I don't know, internal presentations, or how do they synthesize that?
So we have a lot of training going on, and we have a lot of slide decks. And again, you need to be able to, I always call it like a buffet. You put out that buffet, and then the sales or FAEs, right? Whoever needs a slide deck when they go out and have to talk to a customer, you don't want to have that standard 100 slide deck. You need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to meet
100 slides.
No. Yeah, the PowerPoint of death, right? No, but you want to make sure that they have all the options, right? To say, to take and pick, so they don't need to spend time creating right? So again, if they have to meet with that automotive customer, right, that they can go and saying, okay, what's the latest and greatest we have, right?
Yeah.
So we have a whole structured system internally. So it's easy to search and saying, okay, I need this information, I need that information. Let me see, if there's any latest video that Sannah created. And so they can put that out, right? So again, because if you go and do a product training, I think it's always great to start with a short video. And a short video is 30 seconds or less than a minute. It's not like you sit there for 5, because 5 minutes is too long.
Right. Oh, what is the right length?
I'm sure now I'm showing
No,
statistics.
it's a moving target in a way.
But look, I think I think we can all, if you look at it, right? Because if you go on LinkedIn or you go on YouTube or anything else, the attention you have is maybe 18 seconds, and even shorter if you decide to say, do I want to continue? But it is between 18 and 30 seconds. That's where you need to put out that message you want. And then if you want to go much deeper in it, yeah, you can make it longer. Yeah. But you have a few seconds. And it's not because we don't have the attention anymore. It's just because we have so many options right now. And it can be your email that ticks in, right? It can be that text message, or you go on a rabbit hole on social media. That's just so many options. So when you do something and push it out, you need to be sure that you have something that grabs that attention, so the viewer will actually stay and look at it or read it.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a loaded question. People will ask me that all the time on video length, and I'll be like, what's the content in the video? And is this a recorded webinar? Is this a how-to? So, but I think that rule of thumb is so spot on of what you said, and your subject line or your title or, the lead paragraph, as we learned back in my degrees in journalism, right? And we spent a whole semester just writing the first sentence of articles, and having to write something long and then make it shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and distill it down, to really force you to lead with those key points to grab someone. So some tried and true principles there. So Sannah, wow, we've covered so much ground. This has been so much fun. As a manufacturing company, you guys work closely with rep firms and with distributors, which you mentioned. So tell me a little bit about how you collaborate with each and what your expectations are too when it comes to marketing.
So we work with distribution, and then we have sales out there. We actually do not have reps.
Oh, you don't have reps. Okay. No, my bad.
Yeah. No, it's okay. That's okay. So, but again, right, you need to have a really close relationship with distribution, because again, with the branches that's out there, and further out. So it's back to have a study, a study communication program, if you want to say it, right? So make sure that you communicate and saying, this is what's coming out. Make sure when you have all these stock packages, especially because we have over 200 NPIs this year, that's been a lot of emails, right? That's coming out. And you don't want to send 5 emails and put it in to saying, oh, here's the pictures, right? Oh, here's the data sheets, right? You want to make sure that you create it the best way you can to share every information so everybody can work efficiency. So that's one way. Have meetings. Not that you need to have 30-minute meetings. Sometimes just to be on that Zoom call on Teams, right? Have a 10-minute every month to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I think having these meetings, you can do the rest of the month or the next 2 weeks, right? You will have a clear communication on email or on text or whatever, how you communicate. But have these touch point, and that could be, at EDS, right? Or it can be at the conferences you meet, or you just have them schedule in.
Yeah. So something you mentioned earlier, you talked about the importance of having all of your marketing content assets to where sales can easily find them. And now I heard you say the same thing about distributors. So do you have, is that a homegrown system? Do you use a particular technology to do this? How are you approaching it?
Yeah, we have different softwares, right? Okay. From CRM so you can log into the website and get a little bit behind. So it I think it depends who we work with, of how much access we're giving, and of course this is it's a never ending, right? You can always improve. So there's more to come and to expand, because again, you want to make sure that when somebody, if they just need something simple, let's make that accessible, right, on the website, or if you log in, to that platform that we have.
Your sales
It
enablement
just
platform. Sure.
it just have to be easy. I think that's because otherwise nobody will use it. So
Absolutely. And I love the efficiency of, oh, this one distributor is asking for this particular piece of content. I bet everybody needs
yeah,
this. So let's
yeah,
put it on the shared platform where it's easily accessible. And,
yeah,
it just makes so much sense. Work smarter, not harder, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So if you take in all that you've accomplished at MCC and all you're working on, what are some pieces of advice that you have for other marketers working at a manufacturing company, just looking to do better digital marketing?
I make sure that you make videos. I think it's so important. Jump in to do it. You don't need to hire a professional. You can start really simple. I think that's the first advice, because that will actually, it will live, and again, create that YouTube channel, right? The content will live out there. And then you can actually use that as well to when you push it out, if you push it out to LinkedIn or to other social media platforms. Do that, but again, make sure, zooming out, make sure that you have the strategy, right? So what I just said, right, with the different swim lanes, make sure that you can actually feed all of them, because you don't want to end in just one rabbit hole and only have one kind of marketing material.
Yeah, or whichever product team's yelling the loudest gets all the resources. That's not very
Yeah,
strategic, right?
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
reactive. Good advice. Okay, before we go, tell me a little bit about your podcast, Mind the Innovation.
So Mind Innovation is a podcast about leadership within the electronics manufacturing industry. And it's just, I'm interviewing great people that's expert and asking a lot of good questions about company culture, how they have succeeded, about their best advice. So it turned out to be a really awesome podcast, and I learn every time. I have so much fun. And the purpose was just from in the beginning was to say, if somebody else can learn, just one person, that made my day. So it's I love it. It's fun. It's my little hobby.
Awesome. Well, I've listened to it. I think it's a great podcast. Everybody needs to go check it out. And if people want to listen to it, I assume it's on the standard, Spotify, Apple, those
Yes.
places. Okay.
Yeah.
And where can people connect with you and learn more about MCC?
Yeah, so I think the best way, either go to MCC's LinkedIn page, or you can just follow me or connect with me. I'm easy to find as well. I don't think there's so many with the name Sannah. So find me on LinkedIn. I will love that. And I love to learn from other industries as well. I think that just gives so much more inspiration of how you can go to market with products or thought leaderships.
Yeah, great. Well, Sannah, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining me today on Content Marketing Engineered. For show notes, including links to resources, visit truemarketing.com/podcast. While there, you can subscribe to our blog and our newsletter and order a copy of my book, Content Marketing Engineered. Also, I would love your reviews on this podcast. So please, when you get a chance, subscribe and leave me your review on your favorite podcast subscription platform. Thanks and have a great day.